Hello, everyone. It is March 2nd, 2024. Just kind of wanted to. I was actually just sewing stuff, and I figured, let's just turn on the camera and go on live. So we'll give a second for people to show up in here. I'm just working on this quilt behind me. Getting my set in triangles all sewn and starting to do the rows. So this was kind of an unannounced or unplanned live session. So just see who's up and see who's sewing. Right, so we got Mary Jane Ellinger here. Lizette Zayas is here. Miss Nancy is here. Oh, is the sound coming through? I do see that the microphone is working, so sound is good. Okay, thank you, Michelle. And Marla Pavelzik is here. This is not a usual time for me to turn on the camera and go on live. I was just kind of sitting here sewing, and yeah. So I just said, you know what, just turn on the camera and let's go. So the project that I'm working on is right behind me. It's the churn dash made from string blocks. And so I put it on point, and I am doing the inset triangles right now. Click that. So, yep, there's one of them. Hello, Miss Kim. Just finished with tea. Yeah, I was kind of watching her for a little while. And then I said, you know what? I should go on live after her. So here I am. Because I was sewing anyway. And I was going to continue sewing anyway. Hello, Kitty Crafts. Hello, Around to It. Just woke up from a nap. Oh, okay. Well, good morning. Jackie is here. She's saying hello, hello, hello. Okay. So I wish I could pick up the camera, but the camera is actually stationary. It's kind of set in place right now, so I can't really move it. But if I could move it, I would actually, well, maybe I can link up the cell phone here for a second, because I think you might want to take a look at, just so that I can show you guys what the what this quilt looks like, or give you a better view of what the quilt actually looks like. Very happy with it, or very happy with how it turns out. Let's see, I know I can link this cell phone. So what is everybody working on tonight? And I know for some of you, it's really late. But we're all midnight quilters, aren't we? So Michelle the quilter says, I like churn dash blocks. I'm starting to like it too. Of course, my favorite block, or one of my favorite blocks, is the log cabin, but the churn dash is now becoming a very close second favorite. So Lizette Zayas is saying that inset square is a nice twist on the setting triangles. Yep. Something, well, I actually cut a piece of fabric, cut one of the fabric or one of the triangles with and put it up with just the triangle. And I said, wow, that's a lot of background fabric. So I said, let's think of something that I can do using up the extra scraps that I was putting up to the side. And that's when I came up with the idea of putting in one of these crumb squares. This square, this is actually all the, when I trimmed down my string blocks, this is all the trimmings that came off of there. And then I just kind of sewed it together, made a crumb block out of it. And then I said, oh, you know, this will make a nice 4.5-inch square, and then I can use it to put in with the inset triangles. So that's how it ended up. Let's see. Guess who Nancy says trying not to go to sleep yet? Ooh, somebody's burning the midnight oil. Hello, Sandra K. And hey, Mary. She says, I've been working on packing up the solar BOM that I don't like, and I'm not going to finish. Okay, so are you going to send it off to somebody? Hey, traveling quilter. And Lizette Zayas says, I can only plan projects right now, recuperating from a shoulder injury. Ooh. Well, prayers for a very quick recovery there. And let's see. Jackie says, my favorite turn dash is the Tumvled turn dash from Missouri Star Quilt Company. Never saw that tutorial. I shall look it up. Hey, Barbara. Sandra says she's better and bored. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, phone is up. Let me see if I can connect it to this live session. Hang on a second, guys. Oh. Sorry. Facing the back, yeah. Okay. Let's see if I can... Sorry, I'm just trying to get this so that I can show you guys the quilt up close. Okay, yeah, I know the picture is really small. Let me see if I can resize it for you. And which it doesn't look like it's gonna allow me to. There we go. Let's have a look. Sorry, camera's moving. So there you can kind of see the whole quilt all together, and I am doing all the triangle pieces there on the side, and I kind of got a little bit of the corner there, but I got a few more inset triangles to do, and I need to kind of recalculate my corner triangle because that's a little too small. It does fit alongside the corner, but there you got a better view of it, and I want to make the corner a little bigger. Okay, so each of these blocks, well, the churn dash blocks finish at 12 inches, and then I put a 2.5 inch sashing in between all the rows, just so that I could, or to kind of give a little bit of separation between all the blocks. And of course, using the inset square, if I didn't have that crumb block right there, that would be a lot of background. So I took one look at it and then said, let's do something, or let's put something inside the that inset triangle, and that's how I came up with the idea of putting that 4.5 inch crumb square there. But yeah, this was kind of a quilt that I wanted to do ever since I think this was block number 2 in the Scrap Strip Strings and Crumbs series. So sorry, let me switch cameras back. So there you had a view of the quilt. So, I'm arguing with my body, trying to convince it that it really does need to move, no matter what it thinks. So far, I'm losing the argument. Okay, Kim. Hey, Janice. But I will keep trying. I will win eventually. Keep trying at it, Kim. Oh, sorry. I was kind of talking to the back of the microphone, which is why the sound kind of went out, but I apologize for that. There's sound. Okay, Eric, make 4 churn dash blocks cut into 4. So one of each block into a new block from the triple. Oh, okay. I did see that tutorial. I was actually watching that tutorial the other night. Yeah, I might consider doing that block in the future. Just right now, there's other projects that I need to do after this one. This is, yeah, this was just something I had on the side going on, and I wanted to use up some of the string blocks that I'd been accumulating. So this was something kind of quick that I kind of threw together. It's interesting to see how some stand out and others blend together. Yeah. If you notice on some of the blocks, like this green one here, the background is the green print, and then the strings makes up the actual churn dash. But on this pink one there, notice that the background, or the pink, is what I would have put as a background, but instead I used it as to make the churn dash, and the strings make up the background. So it kind of flip-flopped, or was kind of playing around with different things when I was creating the blocks, and I said, this is a little interesting, so I'll do some with the strings being the background and the print fabric as making up the churn dash, and then flip it on the other way around. Just a little experimentation. And again, I'm happy with how it turned out, or how it is turning out. It's not completely done yet. I still have some decisions about do I want to put a border on it? I mean, I didn't mean for this quilt to actually be this large, but anytime you put or anytime you make a quilt with blocks on point, the size of it just grows exponentially because there's a lot of extra space that you now have to fill up, like with these triangles. So, but I'm happy with how it's turning out. But yeah, I'm just trying to decide, do I want to put like a border? Do I want to do a double border? Maybe like a 1 inch strip around, and then a larger, maybe 6.5 inch. Who knows? Traveling Quilter says, I just finished a hens and chicks churn dash, like 120 churn dashes. Wow. That's a lot of churn dashes. Mary says, I'd like to see that. Oh, she's talking to the traveling quilter. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that too. 120 churn dashes. Wow. How big were they? I tell you that Arthur is the worst of the Itis family. Sneaky little devil. I think it's on my Facebook page. See the same name. You can see it. Okay, I'll take a look at that. I think I got all my inset block. Nope, I gotta do one more. Okay. And then on the side, I'm just sewing these 2.5-inch squares and making four patch blocks like this, just as something on the side. I'm trying to think of projects that I can do with these 4 patches. So yeah, I've been looking all over Pinterest, Googling 4 patch blocks, seeing what I can do with it, because I like sewing them and I like making them, but other than just doing a 4 patch quilt, I don't know what else I can do with it. So I figure it's good to have on hand when I need a scrappy 4 patch. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah. And if you hear some noise in the background, the neighbors are having a party again. Sounds like they're having a birthday party, because earlier this evening I was hearing them that they were doing some kind of piñata. Yep, so for this week, getting this quilt top finished was actually on my to-do list for this weekend. And it's been a rather relaxing project to do, because I'm not under any deadline or anything. I mean, it's not like I'm doing a quilting or a video tutorial about this quilt top. Just making it for the sake of making it. It's not being part of any trunk show or any lecture. You know, I never did do a trunk show. I wouldn't even know how to put a trunk show together. Let's just say that. And Traveling Quilter says she just looked on the Facebook page and picture's not there. Okay. But it is on YouTube, so need to get it on Facebook. Okay. Barb McKinley says, I made a disappearing 9 patch using 10-inch squares. It makes a huge block. I need to make 5 more. So 10-inch squares, I'm guessing, well, depending upon how you cut it and how you rearrange it, it might end up being, what is that, 12-inch blocks? No. 9 patch. Well, it's a huge block. Yeah, I would agree. Right now I can't think on quilting math. And Jackie says, I am having to give up on some of my quilting. Now use my Cricut with my embroidery machine to make blocks. How do you, Jackie, how do you like the Cricut machine? I've heard some good and bad things about that particular machine. I'm just kind of thinking about it, or kind of thinking about getting one, but then kind of thinking, what would I even use it for? If I do get one, it would be to cut vinyl and do some heat transfers, I guess. And I know it can cut fabric, but I've heard some good and bad things about that. So I don't know. How do you like it? Wait. Do I have another inset triangle to sew? Let's see. This one goes up here. This one goes okay, those were the last two, and then I got the corner triangles, but I'm just going to continue sewing some 4 patches here for a while. Oh, okay, so apparently Jackie's not the only one that has a Cricut. Everybody else kind of jumped in the discussion, so that's great. Marla says there are different Cricut machines. Okay. That I do know. Because I know they have the Cricut Air, they have the Cricut Mini, and there's a bunch of others. I've been kind of doing my research about it, but then I've also been looking at other machines as well, such as the Brother Scan and Cut. So, Jackie says she loves it. I have the Maker and the Joy Extra. Okay. And let's see. And Mary says Marty loves her Cricut. Ooh, okay. By the way, what color is Marty's hair now? And tell her I said, hey. And Traveling Quilter says it's up now. Okay, so I'll take a look at the picture later. So, snip that. Another 4 patch. And I'll pluck the seam so I can spin the seam. You know. There's Jack. Getting a good workout. Now, question for you guys. When you do a 4 patch or when you sew blocks together, do you spin your seams? Or do you just press it to one side, or do you just press your seam allowance to, or press your seam allowance open? I was quite shocked that like a lot of my quilting friends, they don't spin their seam. They will just press the entire thing over to one side. And I'm like, really? That's a lot of bulk to go through. Yeah. The funny part is when I ask that question to my long arming friends, they always say, oh, we love people who press or spin the seam in the back. Sandra K says, I need to start doing the spin. Jackie says she presses them open. Candy says, I don't spin mine, just press to one side or open. Okay. Mary says, haha, I'll tell her. Her hair is still natural right now. I think she's been so busy she hasn't had time to color it. Okay. That's a long time that she's never covered. Well, how long has it been since she colored her hair? Yeah. I seldom spin my seams. It's just an extra step. My Juki doesn't mind the bulk. That's Barbara McKinley. Mary says spinning them makes it so much flatter. Yes, it does. Sorry about that. The camera times out every so often. Okay, now I'm gonna use, let's see, I'll use this brown. I had a lot of this brown fabric, which is why I used it on this quilt. So, but I think it kind of works out. Yep, so a little lesson that I learned. If you do have some very, well, this color brown is more like a tan, kind of light colored. But this darker brown, let me just say the fabric wasn't so pretty. So it was in my stash. It was actually given to me by someone, and I've had it for a while. Didn't know how to use it, so I just cut it up into strips and started, playing around with it, making strings or putting it in string blocks, and putting it with crumbs, and just experimented with it. And then what I realized is that when you have a darker, or in particular that color brown, it's almost like it's a black, but not quite a black, but it is a darker fabric. So if I put it next to a whole lot of bright fabrics or contrasting colors, it actually looked really good. So then I started digging through all the brighter batiks, see whatever bright colors, fabrics I could use it in combination with, and that's how I came up with this. Okay, good night, traveling quilter. And Mary says she hasn't colored it in over a year. Wow, she keeps talking about it though. In over a year. Wow, that's a long time for her, especially. So for those of you who don't know, hang on a second, let me just get through this seam. So Mary and I, she would join us on, we used to have a monthly Zoom call, and Mary would join on, and sometimes her daughter would kind of walk into the camera and say hi to everybody. And every time we saw her, she had a different color hair. So it became a thing for me to always ask Mary what color is her daughter's hair now. And Kim is saying, I will soon be able to go with any color I want. My hair is turning completely white, just on advantage of being a natural redhead. Okay. So what color are you thinking, Kim? Hey, Susan. I'm just on here sewing some scraps and getting this quilt done. And then I'm just putting some 4 patches together. Got another one done. And I'll be using them for something in the future, so. Oh, wait. I already did one of these, so I'll just do another one. So, sewing blocks like this together allows me to play with different color combinations like this. I'm not sure if I like this. I mean, this is a dark navy blue. And with this brown, I'm just trying to experiment with different color combinations to see what works and what I like and what I don't like out of this. So, for me, this is a good way to experiment with stuff. Hey, June. And Susan says, I spent a lot of time sewing blocks for Summer Moon and for the Tilda pattern Daydreamer. So are you all sewed out now? Kim says, not sure. I've actually thought about purple lights or for fibromyalgia or pink lights for breast cancer. Maybe do both. Half and half? That would be an interesting combination. Actually, pink and purple do work well together, so, well, I don't know about hair color, but I know for quilting it'll make, that's a nice combination. Yeah, spinning a seam is definitely an extra step, but it's one that I'm willing to take, to be quite honest. Every time I spin a seam, I always end up plucking, or sometimes I actually end up ripping the seam apart by accident, and then I gotta resew it. Okay, let's pick a color combination. Let's try this lavender or purple color with purple and gray. Let's see how I like that. I got a ton of the purple and white. Jackie says, depends on what colors you put the 2 patches with. My daughter does purple and burgundy. Ooh, that's a pretty combination. I can see that. Yeah. It's interesting how color works in different combinations. In certain cases, if you put one color next to another color, it might look a certain way, but when you mix it up with a different color, it looks totally different. Okay, let's have a look at this. know. I mean, this is a light gray. Well, let's complete the floor patch, see what it looks like. Let's try green. Ooh, this lime green and maybe the navy. Let's see how this combination comes out. Do I have the navy? Do I have any more of the navy? No, I don't. Okay. Then instead of the navy, let's do the green. And this very bright yellow. Funny, that's real strange. This looks more brown than it really is. But it's actually a very kind of golden yellow. Just experimenting with different color combinations tonight. Having a little fun. Playing with color. Well, where did that green go? I know I had more of it there. Okay, let's see how this lavender and gray came out. I mean, I don't hate it. What do you guys think? This gray is a very light gray. Not very, not a very distinct color. But then again, the camera and the lighting actually doesn't show its real true color from what I see on the monitor. Let's see. Susan, you're out says, I am liking how you have used crumbs in the blocks behind you. Well, thank you. Kim says, also thinking about just doing the tips too, but that's down the road a ways. Okay. I'm just picking out my seam so I can spin the back. Well, thank you, June. She says she likes the blocks on the wall. Saw a lady at the cardiologist's office who just had the tips done in a peach and turquoise. Very subtle but very pretty. And a pixie cut. Peach and turquoise. That's an interesting combination. And Michelle the Quilter says she likes them. Okay, I like the colors. Pretty purple. Have a good night, Susan. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't know if I love it though, but the combination kind of works. Now, if this gray fabric had some kind of design or print design on it, I don't know. I might think twice about it. Or I might have a different opinion about it. Hey, Mona. Okay. I know it's late for some of you, but I appreciate you guys just kind of popping in. This, again, was a totally unannounced live. Was kind of thinking about doing um, adding on an extra live session, like on a Saturday where I could just kind of sew or maybe do some other crafting thing. Usually, usually like Saturday night or Sunday night, I'm usually here just sewing on working on projects. Stuff that I don't do on a video or for a tutorial. That's when I'm usually doing my own thing. And I've kind of figured, you know what? Even if I'm here, if I'm just here sewing, I might as well just turn the camera on and, you know, do a live session. Of course, I know there are a few other creators that do Saturday night lives. Quilts, I know she's on from 6 p.m. Pacific time to 8 p.m. So, of course, I want to be respectful to them and not sort of like interfere with their lives. Hey, Miss Sheila. Hey, Mona. Good night, Mary. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. But how many of us, or how many of you out there, are actually midnight quilters where you kind of, this is basically the only time where you can do your quilting? I know for a lot of people that is true. Especially those with young kids. They got to put them to bed and they can only start working after 10 p.m. So that's their quilting time. Kind of did a pile and iron technique there. You know, you just throw all your blocks on the ironing board and plop the iron right on there. You don't care if the iron actually, or if your seam allowances go the other way. Well, for these blocks, I really don't care. Yeah. And Marla says, I quilt till about 3 to 4 a.m. Mona says, I just finished cutting. Okay. And Terry Bishop says, no, not me. And Kim says, I've done a lot of late night sewing and quilting. The building is quiet, no noise outside, and it's peaceful. Well, the neighbors, you know, when they don't have a party, when is that actually? It seems like every weekend they have a party, but when they don't have a party, it's very, very peaceful around in this neighborhood. But on the weekends, because people are usually very loud. I don't mind the noise though on a weekend because I don't have to get up early. I can sleep in, but yeah, if it's a weeknight, oh gosh, that's the worst thing. And you know, maybe, well, no, I'm not going to say this, but there is someone in this building who I can hear them in their room talking in the bedroom, talking to someone, or they're doing some kind of internet call or talking to somebody over a video conferencing, maybe like on a Zoom or something. So yeah, it's just annoying that I'm in my bedroom. It's about 11 p.m. at night and I can hear them talking. Do I have any more of that? Ooh. Okay, let's see how this black and this gray go. Gray and black. It's a safe combination. I know it'll work, but I want to see how it does with this particular fabric. And Lizette's, Barbara McKinley says, I don't sew that late. We'll need to get used to the daylight saving time before we stay up late. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's coming up pretty soon, huh? And Lizette says, I would quilt until 2 to 3 every now and then. Jackie says, not me. Have to be up early. My granddaughters liked to text her before they leave for school. Okay. Well, how about on the weekends, though, Jackie? Yeah, like me, I'm usually in bed by midnight. And then I get up at 5. Oop, 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 oop. Jack went rolling and fell down on the floor. Let's put Jack in its proper place. Okay, this was the yellow and green. I like it. Although I know the yellow doesn't come out very good. Let me see if I can pop this seam open. Yep, got it. Hey, Claudia. She says, I like the way you've done your corner triangles. Well, thank you. And Michelle the Quilter says, I work on projects until 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. sometimes. We are retired. Okay. I know a lot of retired people that quilt will stay up late to just keep quilting. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna pretend that I didn't do that, but my seam kind of didn't line up there. But I'm not gonna worry about it. And June Hansen says, usually in bed by 10 lately, but can't sleep until late. Okay. And Sandra says, I would have to have music or TV playing. Yeah, usually if I'm here or if I'm not on live, I do have a tablet right below the camera here that you can't see, obviously. But I have my tablet set up and I usually have like something on Netflix playing, or maybe I'm just scrolling through YouTube videos, watching whomever. Speaking of which, is anybody hooked on any series that they want to share on Netflix? Because I'm running out of stuff to watch. Yeah. For the longest time, I was watching Reacher on Amazon Prime, which it was good. I'll just say that. Um, what have I been watching? I know Netflix just acquired some shows, some old HBO shows, and I've been watching 6 Feet Under, or rewatching that, and I've been actually liking that series. You know, when it first came out, um, and I totally sewed this on wrong. Gosh darn. Um, when the series first came out on HBO, I think I was about 10 years old, and I didn't quite understand the show, but now that I'm much more, much more older and somewhat wiser, when I watch the show, I can actually understand what's going on. Once it's in a quote, well, no one will notice. That's true. That's true, Kim. And if they do notice it, then they're not my friend. Or if they notice it and they say something about it, they're not my friend. Yeah, I totally sewed this on backwards. How did I do that? Okay, yeah, this is now the right side. Right sides together, and sew. Mona says she just finished Wrong Side of the Tracks. Oh, never heard of that. Kim says she doesn't have Netflix, but her daughter was hooked on Grey's Anatomy. That's another. You know, I never did see an episode of Grey's Anatomy, but I know, I mean, it's won a lot of awards, and there's a lot of good actors and actresses in that show. Maybe I should actually take a look at that. Susie K says, I actually found some movie channels on YouTube. I know Hallmark has a YouTube channel, and that's usually where, since I don't have cable, I don't have access to the Hallmark channel. That's usually where I watch some of their movies. Yeah. And speaking of Hallmark channel, I used to love watching When Calls the Heart. Barb McKinley says, I don't watch much TV, but I read 2 to 3 books a week. Murder mysteries mostly. Okay. Murder mysteries. So Barb, would you consider John Grisham a murder mystery writer? I know some of my book friends. Some of them do, and some of them don't. And Kim Burris is saying she's been watching movies on YouTube and listening to vintage music a lot. I love old music styles. And Claudia, oh, she's talking to Barb. I love murder mysteries. BBC is my favorite. Is Midsummer Mystery. And Kim was saying I think she means 6 Feet Under. That was one of her favorite shows, but she doesn't have cable anymore. Oh, well, if you have Netflix, You can always borrow or link up to one of your daughter's or son's accounts. Yeah. Okay. Well, truth be told, I used to watch when I was younger. I used to watch 6 Feet Under because I was totally crushing on one of the characters, Peter Krause. I admit it. Susie K says she's listening to audiobooks when sewing. I know a lot of people that do listen to audiobooks. I just can't seem to concentrate listening to a book and doing something else. That's what I kind of noticed about myself. Sometimes when I'm on my way to work, I will listen to a podcast, but sometimes that podcast I'm not really paying attention to it, so it's just more or less background noise. And Barbara says, I haven't read Grisham in a long time, but I don't think I consider him a murder writer. Yeah, me either. But oddly enough, some of my friends do. Well, the scene went the wrong way. Well, that's a quick fix. Wasn't Peter Krause in Parenthood? Was he? I think he was. I think you're right. Okay. June Hansen says, I don't have cable anymore, so have had Roku on, and she likes the Ion channel. Oh, okay. I used to watch Ion too. Okay, so let me see. One last 4-patch here. Maybe last 2. Let's see how this gray and black turns out. Okay, here is the gray and black. I think I might just make a quilt that has all these 4 patches and put them on point. And just make that scrappy 4-patch quilt. Put that one there, and then iron this one. The background color is, it's more like a tan grunge color. I honestly don't even know what the fabric is called, or because it was just some generic fabric that I bought from Hobby Lobby. So it wasn't like any particular designer or anything. But it's just kind of a tan, kind of like a coffee dye kind of color that's a little bit, almost has a grunge look to it in a way. But again, I just went to Hobby Lobby and just picked out or bought the whole boat because I probably I like to use this type of off-white, not so dark brown, but kind of tan color, instead of just using a white fabric as a background. That's just me. And Barb McKinley says, I have a smarter than me TV and can't figure out how to get anything but news and YouTube. It's an age thing. Don't worry, Barbara. Even I have trouble sometimes or trying to work that TV. Whatever happened to the good old days where you just had an antenna and you had the knob to turn the channel, and you could I mean, these days you got all this technology with smart TVs. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have the convenience, but sometimes I just long for the simpler days. And hello, Miss Sewing Sensation. And June Hansen says, I go to live TV and can pick what I want. Yep. Kimber says, it's almost like what they used to call quilter's leather, a blender that came in several colors. You might be right, Kim, because this particular fabric, I mean, it did come in different colors. There was a lighter blue, kind of grungy look. I think there was a red one that I saw, but I just chose this tan, kind of brownish color one. Okay, so let me pull off some of the blocks and we'll start sewing some of the rows. It was like, wait, how did I have it? Like this, yep. So I'm gonna start, oh, actually I started sewing the row. I just didn't have my inset triangle pieces yet, so I can sew this one on. And I hope I got it in the right orientation. I think I do. I know I do. Yeah. And let me just sew off onto a piece of scrap here. Okay, got one side down. And I'm just going to finger press that back. Okay, let's see how this looks. And I'll take this one. Oh. So this goes this way. I can't tell you how many times I've actually sewn on one of these inset triangles the wrong way, because I get myself all confused. So oops. Okay, wait, let's line this up a little better. Good night, Michelle. It's 12:20 a.m. there. Yeah, I'm not going to stay on too much longer. Yeah, we've been on for over an hour. So, picking out another seam. Throw that on there. And let's see what combination of purple and ooh. Let's try this green color with a purple. This will be interesting. Okay, now I got this row all sewn together. And I am going to just finger press this back for now. Looks like the party is over because I can hear them all saying goodnight to each other. And, ooh, it's only barely 9:30. Oh, almost 9:30. That's early for them. Although, it doesn't help that it's raining outside right now, so that might have something to do with it. Okay. This is starting to look really good. So let's put this back up on the wall. And the last row, we'll sew these last two inseams. Wait. Oh. Okay. Barb McKinley is asking, are you left-handed? I've never seen them sewn bottom left to top right before. Not that it makes a difference. I'm actually right-handed. I do like to sew things from right to left, though. Don't ask me why, I just do. Most of the time when people sew, like when they're trying to sew like a 9 patch, they will go from left to right if they're right-handed, but I go from right to left for whatever reason. That's kind of just how my brain works. And I will press this, finger press this back. And okay. Grab the last one. And okay, that seam is totally crooked, but I'm not going to worry about it because it's on the bias, so it'll stretch. I don't know. What do you guys think? Green and purple. Let's see what it looks like with the entire 4-patch. Curious about this. Okay. Yeah, I could use it. Is it my favorite combination? No. Hey, Miss Tiffany. Sounds like somebody had fun at QuiltCon. Make me jealous that I didn't go. No, but I had to work, so there was no way I was going to be able to take off this time of the year. But I'm glad it's coming back to the West Coast next year, and then it's going back to Raleigh in 2026. What's up with that? Or 2020, yeah, 2026. I guess they're trying to go back to their old schedule of having it on the East Coast one year and then the West Coast next year, and then going back to the East Coast. So, and Marla says, very colorful, Eric. Great job. Well, thank you, Marla. No, she's still in Virginia. That's Tiffany. Hello, Candace. And Tiffany says she's tired, she's in pain, but it's worth it for my first visit to the East Coast. Okay. Actually, Tiffany, they just announced that they are going back to Raleigh in 2026. Okay, let's get this on. And I totally forgot to put the sashing here at the top. But that's okay. I keep looking here. The camera's there. Okay, let's put this up. Yep. I'm liking how this one is turning out. Let me see if I can turn this camera back on. And then you guys can have a look at it. And let me see if I can switch it back to... Yep, okay, so the sound will be off for a minute or so, or let me turn this microphone on. Okay, so camera's gonna move. And there we have the whole quilt, or at least most of it, what I got done. I still have to sew the rows together, and I do have to do the corner triangles, but very, very happy with how this turned out. Again, the block, the churn dash block, those blocks right there, finished size is 12 inches. The 2.5 inch sashing is that dark brown. And then these inset triangles, I decided to put a 4.5 inch crumb square in there just to break up the whole monotony of all of that background fabric. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this is turning out. Now, I kind of did a little bit of a miscalculation on these inset squares, so that's why they're really oversized, and then I miscalculated on the corner triangle there. So I might just add a strip to the corner triangle just to make up for the difference. But overall, I'm happy with how this is going. I still have to decide, do I want to put a border around it? I'm thinking I'll just do like a 2.5-inch border and then a 6-inch second border on it. But yeah, happy with it. So let's come back. Hi. Hello, hello. So let's see. So Suzanne Taylor says, I like that color combination. Very pretty. Well, thank you. Hi, Candace. Daisy says, beautiful colors. She's giving it a thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. Tiffany said, Ian said, where did you see that, Eric? Because MQG said no announcement till April. On their website, actually. Unless their website is wrong. Terry Bishop says, I love it. Oh, thank you, Terry. Suzanne Taylor says, wow, that is stunning. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. Everybody's saying, that's beautiful. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Barbara. I like how how colorful it is. So thank you, June. And Jackie saying, beautiful. Thank you, thank you. So Judy Plaster is suggesting that I do your 2 borders, then call it done. I think that's what I'm going to do, Judy. And Tiffany says it's beautiful. Thank you, thank you. So, yeah. So I'm going to spend the night finishing up this quilt. I'm going to recut some fabric because I know that triangle I'm not going to be, or the corner triangles I'm not going to be happy with, so I'm going to recut them and remeasure it. But yeah, I'm going to call this a live. Thank you guys for kind of joining me unannounced. Who knows, maybe in the future I will do like a late night Saturday live, starting maybe from like 8 o'clock or 8:30 after T Quilts goes off, because again, I want to be respectful of her. But who knows? Maybe we'll make this a regular thing. So thank you guys for joining me here. I am gonna call it a live session. I know it's late for some of you guys, and I know some of you guys are late night crafters. So thank you for joining me and keeping me company. And I hope I was able to keep you company as well. Let's see, I am planning on going live on the regular time Tuesday night, so stay tuned for that. And I am working on, or at least on my to-do list for tomorrow, there is a video that I'm working on that's going to be introducing another series that you might want to check out. So stay tuned for that. So thank you guys for joining me here tonight. As always, I know you have a choice of creators that you can follow on YouTube, and yet you follow this weird idiot. So thank you guys, and well, you all know what I'm going to say, so let's all say it together. Let's all get out there and let's create something. Mwah. Bye for now.